Hello, everyone. This is part 7 of Favorite Remnant campaign in the setting and rule set of the Mutant Epoch. Let's just pick up off where we left last time. I'm sure that any viewers that care have watched the episode before, so they know where we left off. We're going to open with Marilyn 84, who's at the bottom of the mountain, which is the town of Shamrock, sort of at this post. It's not really much more than an awning to keep the sun off of you, and not really anything more than that. And you've been here for nearly a full 24 hours now, waiting for any sign of this alleged band of marauders who are headed your way. And you've not seen anyone. Well, not anyone of note, anyway. Only the locals, really. However, it's about 9 in the morning, and the day's not really heated up to the point where it's uncomfortable yet, but it is quite warm indeed. And there's a pretty good wind stirring about, and you can see someone making their way towards you. Still, a pretty good ways away. It's in the desert with the rolling hills, so you can't see too far out, but they're probably at least somewhere between half a mile and a mile from you, but you see someone making your direction, someone on horseback. And it's quite strange because they're coming from the area of the deep desert. There's nothing in particular in the way of the direction that they're coming from, but they are by themselves. They have no caravan, and at the speed at which they're riding, it doesn't seem as though they have a great deal of equipment or things to encumber them on their way, which is sort of a strange sight in the desert.
You said there's just one of them?
Yes, it's a single rider.
Okay, and am I alone right now?
You are alone, with the exception of the regular guard who is just stationed at the post as his 9 to 5 job. This fellow's only been here for about an hour. His shift just started. He's sort of a curly-headed man.
Okay. Why don't you hand me those binoculars?
Yes, ma'am.
So she grabs the dusty and the tattered strap from his binoculars, and she, holds them up, brushes them off a little bit, and looks through the viewfinder. One of them's cracked, and so she kind of has to squint to see what she's seeing, and she plays with the dial, trying to bring it into focus.
And it's hard to see with proper depth, of course, using only one eye. But eventually, you do get it in focus, and you see this man riding towards you with not really alarming speed, but with quite good speed indeed. You see, like I said, he doesn't seem to have hardly anything on him other than a canteen of water and such. No equipment to really make it through such an unforgiving environment. And yet he's rolling up, and you can see stained into his skin this sort of strange half circle symbol that you recognize from your time in the wilds as being affiliated with a raiding gang.
Okay. How far away is he?
By this point, he's about half a mile and closing. He should be there in probably about 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
3 minutes.
Sorry, I'm trying to find my character sheet. I can't figure out. Okay, it's this one. Um, I guess I will just. I'm gonna hand the binoculars back to the guard, and tell him to, you know, tell him to be ready, pretty much.
He sort of kneels down and takes a position behind a large rock, so that he's not seen, at least not immediately. And he has, of course, a firearm, a machine gun.
Okay. You just keep your gun trained on that horse. Keep your finger off the trigger. I know what you did last time with those 3 guards, and we don't want that to happen again.
So you want me to keep the gun trained on him, but you don't want my finger on the trigger?
Yeah, that's right. You just keep your finger along the side.
I'm not sure how intimidating that'll be, but all right, whatever you say.
So yeah, I'll just wait till the guy comes.
All right. He comes up onto you. You can see that he has a strange piece of technology on his arm. He doesn't look to necessarily be a cyborg. He looks just to be a human, but he is quite dirty and greasy and, of course, sweaty from riding across this desert. He's got crazy long black hair that's just sort of natted and in dreadlocks, completely unkempt. He hoists himself off of his horse without saying anything.
What's your business here, Haas?
The Lord of the Wastes approaches.
The Lord of the Wastes. Is that your mother's pet name for you?
No, not me.
Not you, then who?
Well, you'll find out soon enough if you haven't already heard of him, he says with sort of a ugly smirk on his face.
How soon is soon enough?
He'll be here by this time tomorrow. Will you receive him? With open arms and open legs?
Well, if it's open legs you're looking for, you'll have to go in town for that. But with open arms, it just all depends on what exactly this Lord of the Wastes is offering.
Well, that'll have to be between you city folk and him. No one speaks for the Lord except himself. However, I can assure you that he's not the sort of individual that you wish to make enemies with.
Oh, really? What exactly does he do to his enemies?
Well, he's not any sort of sick fuck. It's not that he necessarily takes pleasure.
Well, that's all right. I like sick fucks. I have a special place in my heart for them. Is he trying to tell me he's some kind of a namby-pamby wishy-washy?
Well, he's the leader, the king, some even say, of all the raiding bands in the entire desert. If you think such a man could rise to such a position and be lily-livered, then you may be in for a rude awakening, missy.
Now that conflicts with my knowledge of this area. You see, I come to understand the Black Cloud was the leader of the bandits in these parts. You trying to tell me something happened to Black Cloud?
The smile on his face can tell you enough.
You have any proof of this change of power, this transition, as it were?
The proof will be here tomorrow, when you have 100 men on your doorstep looking for goods and services.
Son, it wouldn't be the first time I've had 100 men on my doorstep, though the reasons were different and the occasion was much removed from this. Now, I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to turn around. You're going to ride right the hell back out of here and hope that you don't get a bullet in the back.
All right. So this is the message that you really want to send to him, huh?
You just better pray that you're still alive to give him that message. I'm giving you 3 seconds to get out of here before I show you what vengeance truly means.
He begins to get back. He begins to get back on his horse, wiping the sweat from his brow. You can tell that it's been stinging his eyes. Man, the town of Shamrock really has fallen on hard times, huh? You know, there used to be a tank somewhere around here. Now they just got a poster girl out here. Well, I gotta say, it's a bit warmer of a reception than we thought it might be.
Son, if you come back here tomorrow, that's the last warm reception you're ever going to get.
He smiles slyly at you and then begins to ride off in the distance. This time at a casual trot.
All right. Toby, when why don't you put a couple shots across his bow?
Are you being serious?
Yeah, I'm being serious. Now, make sure that they're not too close to the horse now. You know, but just enough to get him out of my sight.
All right.
And she takes out her lip gloss and she's putting it on as he goes about this.
He's sort of holding his gun awkwardly. You could tell he sort of knows what he's doing, but has no real experience doing it.
Give me that! And she just grabs it right out of his hands.
As you do, he pulls the trigger, releasing bullets into the air.
You idiot!
What?
Just stay behind that rock. That's a good place for you, okay?
Okay.
So I take the machine gun and take careful aim. And I don't know how far away is he by now?
He's not that far. He's about 50 feet.
Oh, that's plenty close. So I'm gonna try and put one past him.
All right, go ahead and roll your percentile die. Do you have any skills in it?
And let's see.
You don't need them. I'm just asking.
I don't think so. I don't have any gun skills on here. So what would I roll against on this?
Let me look really quick. I wasn't expecting this to come up so fast.
We could just use accuracy or something. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, just get you just have the regular strike value.
Okay.
Your strike value is 55, I assume.
It's like, I think it's 50 something. Yeah.
Yeah, just get under that.
He rolls a 53, which is under 58, which is what I have. Which she has. Yeah.
Yes, but sure enough, you managed to shoot this guy sort of in the back of his arm, sort of right above his armpit and his shoulder. He sort of grabs it as his horse begins to walk faster, jolting him hard.
And she screams after him, "Think of that as a goodbye kiss."
Well, you've sent your message, and that's where we will leave that scene for now. Meanwhile, deep within the jungle, Ebony and Lou are making their way. It's the next day, and by this point, you, of course, Epony being a bear, has an incredible nose, and you've never lost the smell of Billy, but you guys still haven't got close enough on him to overtake him. Although his scent, that very specific smell of body odor and other various bodily fluids, and the strange metals, which were used to build his elite suit, as it were, an actual real suit of armor, not pieced together with bits and bobs. But you haven't been able to overtake him, and of course the jungle is quite thick, um, and teeming with dangerous things that makes it quite a mission to get through there at any rate. And it is incredibly humid and incredibly hot. But the single main factor determining the speed at which you're going and what's really been hampering your progress is Lou. For this poor old fellow was never made, quite literally, was never made to be in such an environment, and he's not faring the best from it. He's walking quite doggedly through this jungle, and you guys are now on quite off the beaten path. You are on a path of sorts, but it's not really worth a damn, to be quite honest. There's the sound of birds constantly in the air during the day, especially the mornings such as this. And you guys are making your way ever closer towards Billy and whatever strange revenge he might be exacting upon Donovan.
Is there any signs of Donovan coming past this way as well?
No.
Okay. Ebony is trudging
smell-
along, sweating in her armor from the turtle arm. Is it a full piece of armor, wasn't it? Was it to come with a helm as well, or is it just the body?
Yeah. It's more or less a full piece of armor.
Yeah.
Your arms, apart from your elbows, are largely still, for flexibility purposes, still open, but it's more or less full body armor.
Ebony turns to Lou with a kind of an unusual frown on her black bear face. You know something, Lou? Ebony thinks that I think that Billy Buck has anticipated that we may be following the kind of route that we are taking is very odd. We're looping around and zigzagging across the forest. It's as if he's trying to shake us off. And usually I would, if I'm tracking people, I could get a kind of a sense of other things in the forest. And I know what Donovan would kind of smell like, but I can't get a whiff of him. I don't know what he's up to.
I'm a little ways behind you. Currently, my bow, which was slung across my back, is stuck in a tree branch, and I'm desperately trying to. I'm half paying attention to what you're saying, but also half trying to. I'm trying to look as dignified as I can. And when you turn and look at him, he's like acting as if he's not actually caught in a tree. Yes. Are we close? These woods are. There's so many dangerous predators in these woods, I am sure. Well, no offense, being a dangerous predator yourself.
None taken. None taken. That's the thing. I can't seem to get a judge if we're actually catching him up or not. I'm starting to worry that he may be kind of leading us in a big circle and throwing us off. I was thinking. Now I'm not a thinking bear, as it were. I'm not as smart as you and Billy Buck are at thinking up strategies and tactics. I just smack things. So I'm thinking, Lou, do you have any idea of how we can, I don't know, cut through the obstacle, as it were?
Obstacle. So I'm sort of like tugging on my bow. I kind of assumed you, Ebony, would know more about these things than others. I'm afraid you give me too much credit. I haven't. When I escaped from the facility, I'm afraid I wasn't much good out in these woods. It took, well, it took me selling things to be able to make it, to survive, to make my way back to civilization. I'm afraid I don't much like woods. I once got lost in the dark, separated from my group who all escaped, and I don't much like this place. Are you saying you've lost his scent?
No, I'm not saying I've lost him. I've not lost him at all. I'm just saying that I feel like he's taking steps to make us catching him up problematic. So we need to try and think our way through. I have had an idea, but I don't know if you'll like it.
Yes, speak it. I'm sure it's...
I want to lift you, Lou, up above the canopy, and I want you to describe me what you can see. If we can get a better view of the terrain from above, maybe I can figure out a way to take a shortcut to try and cover more ground rather than going around and around.
Luke, can you make a percentile roll for me, please?
Sure can.
What is your perception?
40?
Okay, so you will need to roll a 44 or lower.
Well, I got a 19, so...
Oh, wow.
That's pretty good.
As he's telling you this, you're sort of looking about up at the canopy for perhaps a spot that you can peek through, and you trip. Well, not trip all the way, but you stumble a bit and you catch yourself. But strangely enough, as you look back at this gnarled sort of root or vine that you tripped over, you see that it's reflexively responded to you and sort of turned over and then coiled back, as if looking to grasp you.
Sort of back off very quickly and give a shout in surprise. It's alive! That thing! It's alive!
Following its vine back, you could see that it takes it to a massive Venus flytrap-like mouth, big enough for even Ebony to fit inside, perhaps.
Uh-oh. Ebony's just still talking. He's like trying to describe this plan of hers. Like, I want you to go up above the canopy, up above the tree line. And I think that trying to think like Billy thinks, I could cut a swath through the forest, and we could cut him off, hopefully, and catch him out. He wouldn't be expecting that, and stop this nonsense. And what are you looking at?
Ebony, can you make a perception roll as well? What is your perception, Ebony?
25.
Okay. So let me see. You have to make 33 or lower on a percentile roll.
Okay, so first dice, that's a 7, so and a 0, so 70. So now I'm just gabbing. All this concentrate to try and think of a plan is really kind of taken out of her. It's not her. This is not her comfort zone.
It moved.
It
moved.
Two more of these have begun to wrap around each of Ebony's legs before she realizes it.
See,
I
I'm
take
thinking,
out my machete.
yeah. See, I'm thinking, Lou, that
They're around your legs! They're around your legs! And I start going after them. I start going after the vines.
what's around my leg? What is that? And Ebony just tries to just tries to take a step forward.
Okay, luckily Lou managed. He missed and didn't quite get through on his first hack, but he did manage to hack one of these off. However, the other one now with even greater speed and intensity coils itself around your leg, and as you try to step forward, it pulls back with just as much force, and Ebony comes tumbling down. Of course, it's not that easy to make a bear who's prone to a 12-foot tall bear who's prone to dizziness fall down.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just looking at that. I see where this is going. I'm like this, Lou. Is there something behind me?
It's a big man-eating plant. Look at the size of that thing. Ah! And I start going after the other vine. I do not wish to see my only hope of making it out of these woods alive devoured before me.
All right. Roll for your strike value, Lou.
Okay. I did make under 46. I needed a 57.
Okay. So you managed to hop back far enough to be able to swing it without fear of hitting your bear friend, and you cut into it deep, not quite all the way, but enough for it to be loosened, and with, of course, Ebony's struggling and probably trying to kick it off, she manages to break free as it sort of coils back in pain.
Huh. Let's get out of here.
It takes me a couple of minutes to get. I'm like a giant bear with a giant turtle shell on me, so it takes me a second or two to.
I try to lend my assistance getting you up, but you probably, even if you pull on me even a little bit, I probably just tumble to the ground with you.
Okay, as I get up, I'm like, on second thoughts, Lou, maybe we should move on a little bit first.
Yes, please.
Billy Buck, let's have you make a percentile check as well for when you passed through.
All right.
What's your perception?
It is 26.
Okay, so you need to get 52 or lower on a percentile.
Oops, let me roll that again. I didn't pick a tens column. Let me grab that. 50 is what I got.
Okay. So, luckily you guys won't find Billy Buck inside one of these. Well, maybe not lucky, you would have found him. Either way, apparently Billy made it through here as well.
I reckon it would have spit him back out.
So let's cut to that. Of course, as they hastily make the way from those strange plants. What is Billy doing as he trudges his way through the jungle?
How far past them is he, would you say?
Well, not too far. Can't really be sure, but probably not much more than 1,000 yards. And of course Billy has, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but he has a bit of a almost supernatural nose as well, nearly. And Billy as well has, of course, not given up hope, but you have lost scent, at least, of Donovan, but you smell Ebony of course, your friend behind you.
Oh, right. Yeah, I have heightened sense of smell. So, when I smell her, you know, I instantly kind of stop, and I know that she's coming after me. But do I hear anything aside from smelling her?
You hear a sound which you've heard many times before, a sound which is unmistakable, even if a bit muffled through all the trees. The sound of your quite hefty friend falling to the ground
Hmm.
as a dull thud sort of resounds.
Um. Well, he's going to turn around and make his way towards that sound if he can figure out where it was.
Sure, you can. Mostly from the amount of birds that are sort of flying out of those trees to hurriedly find other ones. At the sound of some large creature in the area, you make your way back that direction.
Okay,
And
before I get too close, I'm gonna do some recon. I don't want to just run into the scene in case maybe she was captured or something. I don't know, by something else. Because I did make my way through those plants, and I'm guessing, I remember what they were and stuff. I'm guessing that's what happened.
sure, yeah, Billy's a pretty capable guy, so you're going hesitantly. And of course, the two of you are making your way his direction. And as you walk through this forest with leaves and plants all around you, Lou, you feel a sharp sting on your neck. And as you go to swat it away, you see a mosquito fly off.
God, I hate this fucking jungle. Jesus, will it never end? How big is this thing? Have you been here before, Ebony? How long until we get out of here?
Well, that's the thing, Lou, with the forest. A direct path would not take us that long, but the way that we have been traveling, from what I could tell, it's been a very kind of jagged route. Never going straight for too long. Never giving an indication of the destination. Really, vaguely, we're heading towards Shamrock, but we could be in here for weeks at this rate.
Who would make a jungle like this? I mean, why would you plant trees like this? It's just insane.
It's
The
just how
ancients
the world
must have
is,
been
Lou.
mad.
It's what I grew up with. These plants are harmless enough as long as you give them a good smack every now and again. They get too curious.
Why would you create plants that could eat you?
We've all
Doesn't
got
make
to eat,
sense. Huh?
Lou. Everyone is someone else's dinner.
Yes, but why would the
Papa
ancients
used to say.
create such a thing?
Well, they created you for a specific purpose, did they not?
Yes, but I don't eat people.
Yeah,
I
but
make sense.
but that's not what you were created for. So your story goes, if I remember correctly.
Well, I
You
suppose
you
not
you
literally.
make people happy, if I remember.
Yes, in a manner of speaking. But sooner we're out of here, the better. This forest gives me the fucking creeps.
So by this point, Billy, you can hear their voices clear. You know they're not far from you at all.
Okay. I can probably tell it's just those two. I'm guessing.
Yeah, and they're
Um,
casually conversating. Doesn't
yeah.
sound like a tense situation.
So I'm not gonna. I'm just going to kind of make my way up to them, uh, with trying to be quiet, not to let them know it's me. So I guess I'm sneaking, is what I'm saying.
You see you see Lou has a machete in one hand, and he's very nervously looking around the woods for something to chop at, which he often does. Any plant that gets too close to him, he will chop. And just conversating with Ebony. So, did your family, Ebony, did they grow up in a woods like? Did you grow up in a woods like this then?
Not exactly, no. My family are from a different part of the area that you would know as Shamrock.
Hmm.
I left home a few years ago. I haven't been back since. You know, bear people can be very stubborn, you know, Lou. Very stuck in their ways. I wanted to see a bit of the world. Yeah.
Can understand that.
That's why I ended up joining up with a beautiful touring band. We went and toured the cities many years ago.
Oh, is that what you call
A
it?
couple of years ago.
Is that what you call banditry?
It was a great time. I learned a lot of things about the world, like how to get through a forest, Lou. You should spend some time traveling around. It'll do you some good.
By now they've passed you, Billy.
It's the way of steel.
Oh, I thought they were on. I thought they were lying on the ground. Okay, I misunderstood that. So, in that case, I will just come up behind them and tap Lou on the shoulder.
Okay. Well, can I make a perception check?
Yes, sir.
Recognize that this is him. Otherwise, there will be a machete coming your way.
Let's say roll 55 or under.
I thankfully for you, I did. Holy jeez! Oh, oh, Jesus Christ! Fuck!
What? You got some kind of problem there, pretty boy? You don't look like you was in the right frame of mind to be trudging through the forest.
Just like I almost cut your head off there.
You didn't almost cut my head off. You couldn't cut the head off a dead dog sitting on a tree stump. Now listen, what are you two doing out here? This is dangerous.
Looking for you.
Looking for me. Well, you done found me, I would say. Now look, I didn't think you two idiots was going to come trailing me out in this dangerous forest here. Otherwise, I would have just told you to stay put. I got some business I got to tend to. And now that you's out here, I don't know what I'm going to do with y'alls.
Well, to be fair, I guess it was mostly Ebony's idea.
Ebony, what are you doing dragging this city boy out here into the forest?
Emily raises a kind of a blackened eyebrow at Lou. Well, he said he needed a bodyguard to get back to Shamrock, and it was on the way.
Back to Shamrock? What are you talking about? Why are you on the way back to Shamrock?
Because our business with the turtles is done.
Yeah.
What,
We wanted
did
to
I
make
miss
sure you were
something
alright.
while I was in a coma? What took place? What's going on here?
Haven't you heard of that cyborg art? Remember what the whole reason? You know, the turtles had talked about a cyborg army that could be threatening this area. We need to go back to Shamrock and tell them the news. Maybe post more guards out this way.
You don't need to
I
worry
know all about the
cyborg army.
cyborg army, but excuse me, Ebony, but I was under the impression that we was to get more of that eucalyptus tea that they promised us. And damn it, if I'm gonna leave without getting it.
Well, if you wanted it so badly, maybe you should have stuck around and got some, rather than traipsing up into the forest in the middle of the night.
I didn't know you two was gonna leave without me. That's what. I see I see what you was up to. You said, we had enough of Billy Buck. We's gonna just leave his ass behind. Little did you know, I already was left.
Billy Buck, only you would accuse me of leaving you after trying to find you.
Listen, I got important business matters to attend to. Now, I can't be babysitting you two knuckleheads, so if you want, you can follow my trail. You can follow my trail. I'll leave a big, obvious trail since you clearly have issues finding it. Now, I will go up ahead. I may be a couple minutes ahead of you, but I need you to give me a little space. I got some like I said, business I got to talk to with Donovan.
I think we should travel as a group together. As I I kind of step forward and get caught in yet another tree.
Billy, you are in no condition to go traipsing around this forest.
Watch where you're swinging that damn machete, boy. You're not doing us any favors. Just stand over there, and he like kind of gets, backs away from Lou.
Okay, I sort of move off in the direction you point and trip over myself, get stuck hanging in a tree. Ah!
I don't have time for this.
Another vine!
I don't have time for this. And Billy, he kind of just storms off back towards the direction of Donovan's trail.
Wait! Don't leave me! Ah!
And we will leave that scene there. That was awesome. So, what exactly is Donovan doing, or where is he headed? He has been, of course, walking through the jungle for nearly 2 days now, until he finally comes to a river, which he follows along for another half a day, until he reaches a sort of wooded hollow area that he sort of looks around with an expression on his face of vague familiarity, like he knows the place, but he's not really sure if it's the place that he thinks it is. Are you there? Hi, man.
Donovan sees up about 15 feet up one of the very large trees that is in this area. An area that looks like a large, massive tree that's covered in some sort of lichen, draping lichen. From one of these patches of lichen, the lichen moves aside as a furred face sort of peers out, looking down at the man situated below. Donovan, is that you?
Oh, yeah, Garkin, that's me.
Ah, welcome. It's been a long time, friend.
Yeah, it has. I wasn't even sure if you... Well, it's been a few summers, I think. I wasn't even sure if you still lived around these parts, but I thought it was worth a try.
For now, yes. Around these parts, I'm going to be staying for a bit. Would you like up? Do you want to come up?
Yeah, if you can accommodate me, I'd appreciate it, my friend.
There are several vines that seem to drape down from this tree, but Garkin pushes out a hempen rope ladder for ease of use that stretches all the way down to the ground.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And I suppose I should tell you before things get awkward, but my dad's gone. He died last winter.
Oh, he seems to be searching for the right word, as his English his use of the English language seems to be a little bit broken. I am mournful for your story. I am sorry.
I appreciate the condolences, my friend. But more than anything, I appreciate somewhere to stay to keep safe.
Yes, come up immediately. Yes. And looking at the face a little bit more closely, you can see that it is the face of looks more cat than human. The eyes are one of the traits that look the most human. The pupils look very similar. However, the face is furred, and seeing his friend, he has a sort of more mournful expression on his face rather than the smiling, sharp teeth he originally greeted his friend with. He has a mostly golden sort of colored fur with black spots or patches interlined between the spots on his fur. And he has the other trait that seems to be human, very human, is long hair that extends out of his head that is pulled back in a ponytail. Yes, come up, friend. Come up.
Thank you. I've got some dried fruit and some meat that we should eat before it gets too bad. Some wing slasher that I can at least give you for the trouble.
Yes, tie your pack to that vine, to the vine down there. I will pull it up.
He does so and then begins to make his way up the ladder.
And I pull the heavy pack up, seeming to have no trouble whatsoever pulling such a heavy load up into the large hollow in the tree.
Of course, once he gets to the top, he reaches over and ties it and pulls it in. And like,
it is a large area that seems to have been made larger than it originally was. It seems to have been hollowed out more. And inside the only light inside is dim candlelight, as that seems to be what he prefers for lighting. But by the dim candlelight, you can see most of the candles are situated at the far end of the room on a small scavenged table that he uses as a shrine of sorts, in which he has small pictures of little old advertisements and old pages from magazines are littering the table in almost a sort of reverential way, and they have pictures of catmen of various sorts. Here, a picture of a Frosted Flakes advertisement. Here, a picture of an advertisement for a toy, for a Catman toy. Various pictures that that Donovan knows are what he considers ancestors of himself on the table.
I gotta say, man, not a whole lot's changed since I've been here, and familiarity can be a bit of a welcome a bit of a welcome thing.
Yes, it is very good to speak. It has been a while since I spoke to your kind. The turtle folk sometimes speak to me, trade, but not as often as of late. They seem to be nervous about something. There are unusual goings on in this wood. And he sort of points you to a plastic lawn furniture that he has next to a small, very, very small table he has situated. No more than, it's basically lawn furniture he has situated there. He himself takes a seat, cross-legged on the floor, more or less by the shrine where he has a sleeping pad he is sitting on.
And Donovan sits down, sort of with his back against it, half laying, half sitting, trying to make himself comfortable. Yes, I see what you mean about the turtle folk. They seem to be a bit, well, put it this way. I just in fact came from their village, and last thing I saw on the morning that I took off, they were taking out shells of their fallen comrades and turtles from generations before, and they were decorating their hides and their shells and this armor that they were creating. It seemed, I've never seen it before, but no dunce, I could see that they were preparing for war of some sort.
War?
I know. They're a peaceful people. It must have been taking a lot to push them to this. But you know, they are quite stubborn too. It'd be pretty hard to get them to change their minds, I suppose, at this point. But they were suiting up like I've never seen them before, putting on black and red and yellow war paint. Well, I mean, maybe they were going out to play one of those old things. What were they? Sports. Maybe they were doing one of those sports that people used to do. But it didn't look too good to me. I'll tell you that.
Yes. Strange. I came out here to avoid all that. I do not wish to be entangled in yet another great conflict. Terrible.
Yeah. Nothing good can come from when too many people are in one spot. They inevitably fight. I understand that people feel as though there's strength in numbers, but if people could learn to survive in smaller groups or individually, it'd be better off.
You speak as one of my people. Yes, indeed. The fellowship of your fellow people is important, but only on occasion. When you get too many of the males of one species in a group, you have fighting. Much fighting.
Indeed, that's actually what forced me to, well, not like I wouldn't visit you of my own volition, but that's what brought me here this evening. I was hired to escort these city slickers, as it were. Well, not all of them. There were a couple of men of survival, like myself, and woman, sort of. Anyway, we were taking these people through this jungle to this turtle village. We got there, and, well, this little boy, he wanted to start messing with me. And I suffered him long enough, I think. I gave him a bit my own 2 cents, and can't really blame him. But his friends have backed him up, and well, this kid's a complete nutter. I saw it was time for me to get out of there sooner rather than later, and well, that's what's brought me here.
Sort of tilt my head sort of curiously at this mention of him joining up with a group of people.
No, yeah, I see the look on your face. Well, you may know me better than I know myself. I'm not one to rub shoulders or grease elbows with too many people. But I've been saving up. He sort of pulls out a sack and shows you various coins, many from Shamrock, some from Gearshift, various forms of currency. And some from the Turtle Folk even. I've been saving up. Well, ever since Dad died, I can't really stop thinking about, the facility, the place I came from. I never really thought about it. Well, I thought about it, but I never really thought about what I should do in regards to it. But once I met a bloke named Lou, he's sort of in a similar predicament, and it made me realize that I've lost enough, that it's time that I chase down some of these demons and get some answers for myself. And so, well, I've been saving up enough money. Now I think that I can finally perhaps finance a journey there and see what I may find.
Garkin, I don't seem to have I don't have a good grasp of human facial expressions, and I definitely don't show very many myself. But I do definitely look intrigued by these suggestions. Yes, you had spoken much of this facility of yours. I, too, am curious about these pure people, these non-created. I have many answers I wish to have answered. The origin of my people, as you know, has always been upon my mind. Where do we come from? Why do we exist? Who created us? These things are greatly important to me. I fear, too, with this war, especially if it is in this area with the turtle folk, I may need to be moving once again. Perhaps I could come with you.
Well, to be honest, I hope that you'd say something along those lines. As you can imagine, there's not much chance of me making it there on my own. I've got enough coin to get us both there. No need to worry about that. If you're willing to come, I don't know if you'll find out whatever answers you'll help. I don't know if I'll find out whatever answers I'm looking for. But I figure if anyone's going to know, well, they should have the information there.
Yes, there will be much interesting information to find there. I do so enjoy reading that material. I don't know if Donovan is capable of reading, but Garkin certainly is, and he does have a few books. No, not so much books, but maybe tattered magazines and stuff that are greatly stained that sort of lay about the place that he reads often.
Yeah, I figure either we could keep heading down the river and hope that the people those strange folk that once we encountered before that live along the river, the sort of the people that speak to you in your head. I believe they were a family of loggers, if I'm not mistaken. We follow the river along, we may be able to find hospitality in their
Yes.
home
They
for a
were,
night.
I did enjoy the company of those strange and yet nice people. Not many greet me so nicely, as you know, for I do frighten many children. And I grin, but you know it's not a grin. It's more of a scent thing, and I sort of sniff the air.
Ah, indeed, I remember that when the water touches their skin, it makes the most foul smell I've ever smelled. However, I'd rather have a kind soul and a stinky body rather than everyone else in the world.
Indeed, yes. Very true.
It's either we go that route or we head back the main way. But I wouldn't be surprised if we cross paths with we'd probably cross paths with the blokes that wish to exchange blows with me. Not to mention the turtle army.
It's no longer safe. Many people traveling along the roads these days. Many of them attack me, thinking I am some sort of wild animal. Sort of like peer at you, peer through the lichen to the outside with my golden eyes. I do not wish to go back to that road. The fewer people who do not know me, the better.
Yes, well, I believe most of that is out of hateful ignorance or ignorant hate more than it is a conscious decision. But I suppose it doesn't really matter. The end result is the same. If you wish to leave by morning, I'm up for that. I know you're more of a nocturnal kind of a guy, but I have been walking without stop for 2 days now. Some rest would be nice. If you wish, we can leave the next evening. You know these parts better than me.
Night, it does not matter. I'm not as nocturnal as I once was. These woods get very dangerous at night.
Indeed they do. Now, my friend, you've been quite a gracious host to me, but if you could perhaps do me the honors of reading to me one of those pieces of paper that you got, I would greatly appreciate it. He sort of sits down in a comfortable position, waiting to be, I suppose, entertained. As apparently this seems to be your custom with each other.
I grab up one of my only piece of one of my favorite little things that I have. It's a story called Puss in Boots. And I sort of read the story as I feel almost like, this really is a story of perhaps the origin of my people going on in the world. And I regale you with the story, talking about the farmer and his son who could inherit nothing. And so the only thing he was to inherit was the cat. And I go on about the story, on the whole thing. For as long as you are awake, of course.
Right. It's not too long before Donovan drifts off. Of course, not out of boredom, but exhaustion. And so we shall turn our focus to gear shift. So Peabody has sort of triumphantly paraded down into the depths of this cavern, of these caverns where these cyborgs house all of their machinery and equipment, and so on and so forth, to go partake in this challenge. And the two of you, of course, I assume your characters wish to follow him, but the two of you are just sort of standing there, stupefied, really, that what is going on is going on. That Peabody is, well, showing his true colors, as it were. That he is, well, you're not really sure what he's doing, but it's quite strange indeed. First, he accuses you falsely of things, things which he knows to be untrue, or at least you thought he knew to be untrue, and now he's taken on this challenge, this strange industrial challenge, on behalf of the group, and should he fail, your tank will be yours no more. And the two of you are just standing there, of course, in the center of the town square there in gear shift, just sort of with your jaws dropped. And Charlene is there as well. What? Do you guys think we can really trust Peabody at this point? Can't hear you, Matthew.
Did the camera might mute in 5 minutes again? I've been talking in original for like 5 minutes to myself. That's great. That's great. Charlene, I honestly, I don't know. I thought Peabody was a more amenable cyborg from what I'd seen. He seemed confusing, but at least free from the common, I suppose, dogma that these people believe in. But he seems to be, I don't know what the word for it would be, confused. Kind of gesturing at Edward, kind of disorientated. I don't know, like messed up. I think either way we need to have a plan. If this goes wrong, if this goes south, we need to be able to get out of here. So we could find ourselves unwelcome here pretty sharpish.
Yeah. I don't want to lose the tank. I mean, apart from that, I mean, I just don't want to go through the desert without the tank. But on top of that, how do you think that the mayor of Shamrock's going to respond when we come back without the tank?
I finally pipe up at this point as I sort of get out of my drudgery. What will he say? He won't say anything. There won't be a town left. This tank is our town's only hope. There is a large force marching there to kill and rape and pillage and murder everyone. Man, boy, and child. All of them. My family and everyone I've ever known. And I had to put my trust in someone who's clearly out of their mind. I can't. This can't be the end. This can't be it.
Maybe he knows what he's doing. Maybe this is all just some elaborate ruse.
I thought he may know what he's doing, Charlene, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's in our best interest.
But wait a minute. I thought when I first met you guys, you said that he was your slave. She says, pointing at Edwards.
Well, I kind of like look a little bit awkward. I don't think I understood cyborgs very well at that time. I thought he was a robot, and I think a robot and a cyborg are two different things. I don't entirely get it, but he seems to have started as a human, and now he's still human? Just
That's
not, just that he's, it's a little confusing, but I don't think he is property. He's human? I hope.
maybe we've been lied to. Maybe they were always humans. Maybe those household appliances that we've read about and learned so much about, the washers and dryers, maybe those were people too, that were forced into those jobs. Maybe they're just reclaiming what's theirs in the first place.
Well, now don't get too confused here. We are all made in the image of the Sky Mother and the Sky Father.
Be that as
We are
it
not,
may,
these toasters you speak of, they are not, certainly they do not have intelligence like we do. They are not sapient. I think that's the word.
The sky mother and father. What is that?
The minute you say, he's like, you have not heard of the Sky Mother and the Sky Father. Perhaps you were not down to the village enough. Yes, the Sky Mother and the Sky Father. Well, they are the ones that created this world. You do not know this?
No.
Yes, it is. Oh, I am sorry, I misspeak. It is the Sky Father and the Earth Mother. The Earth Mother is the one you stand upon right now, and the Sky Father is the one when you look into the sky and you see the clouds, it is he you see. Yes. They are the creations of this world. They created us in their image.
And do they make this world to be the way that it is now? Or is that someone else's doing?
No, child. They did not create this. This was when we had defied the Earth Mother and the Sky Father, when we polluted our skies with smoke and with all of those sort of chemicals of back then. That is what angered the Sky Father, and we dumped horrible chemicals also upon the Earth. That is what angered the Sky Mother and the Sky Father, and they did not wish us harm, but they simply had to open our eyes to what has to what we were doing, and the only way that they saw fit, the only way they could make us see the error of our ways is to remake the planet into what you see now. But soon, one day soon, child, we will not have to. We will once again all worship the Sky Father and the Earth Mother as we once did, and they will bring us back into their warm embrace, and the planet will once again be renewed.
And these metal people, these cyborgs, are they beyond redemption, or will they be justified too in the end?
Well, I sort of look a little bit awkwardly. I don't know. To be honest, I I know much of the mythology of the Sky Father and the Earth Mother, but this is a new thing to me. I had not known much about these metal people. I had assumed that they were our servants, but I I think they too have a place. They too have a place upon this earth. But as long as they live in harmony with it.
I see. That that actually makes a lot of sense. I suppose I'd always just assumed that the ancients were the ones that created, but now it makes sense. The ancients were the ones that perverted and twisted creation and ruined it,
Yes.
and created things like him. She points at Reginald. Poor people that never deserved such strange, unnatural things forced upon them.
Sort of look at you. I sort of look at her puzzled. She appears to be human, correct?
Yes.
Pure human?
Yeah.
No, child, you have it the other way around. It is, I am sorry to say, but it is your people that are changed. As I said, the Sky Mother, the Sky Father and the Earth Mother are created in our image. And I sort of point towards Reginald and I. Our image. I'm afraid that when the pollutants of the ground and the air entered the sky and the earth, it changed you. Your people.
I'm not entirely sure the Sky Mother created me, my friend. Cyborgs did this to me.
Yes. Well, you are saying that you once looked like her?
More or less. You know?
Wow.
Slightly different hair. Maybe, prettier face than what I have now. But
Consider it a blessing from the Earth Mother. She has blessed you with in her image, and the Sky Father too.
I wouldn't call this a blessing, my Edward. You would not want this.
Well, perhaps not, but it's they work in mysterious ways. The Sky Father and the Earth Mother.
If we were created, I don't think we were the intended outcome. Judging by the reception we get from people like her. No offense, Shelley.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty ignorant here too. I've just never seen anyone like you before, Reginald. So I assume that the minority was the ones who were different. But I suppose who really knows what came before?
I guess we'll never know.
Oh, of course, that is what my father and my mother always taught me. How could they be wrong?
At that point, Murdoch walks up, of course, drinking his flask. So, did I just have a day stroke, or did I just hear that Peabody's is responding to the challenge in regards to the tank? I mean, hey, I'm just the driver, I got a job either way. I'm not too worried about it, but it's kind of weird, man.
I'm not entirely sure what his game plan is right now, Murdoch. But just for argument's sake, how fast could you get this tank out of gear shift?
Um. Well, pretty fast, you know. I'm not sure exactly what those walls are made out of there, but you know, assuming that we could get out of here without meeting too many obstacles, I could have us out of the line of sight in under 10 minutes.
Um, how long do you reckon we could drive for? In a
Ah,
day?
I see. I see where you're going here. You want to just bolt now, right? I mean, none of the raiders are here. We could probably make a quick getaway. I mean, sure, we'd have to leave Peabody here, but I mean, let's be honest. At this point, do we really want him going with us? We could just slip away right now.
I mean, I'm just saying it's an option. I don't want to be the one to force the situation. Technically,
Hey,
the
sounds
tank
good to me.
the tank was put into Edward's care, so it's kind of his decision. But if things don't go well for this, what was it, a challenge? Edward? Is that what they said this was?
They said a challenge, yes. A
I mean,
challenge of crafting, I believe.
I mean, either way, we can't let them have this tank. It's Shamrock's only real defense.
I kind of look a little bit regretful. It would be a real shame after all we've gone through to leave Peabody, but it's too risky. I think it might be best to leave now while we got the chance, while we have this surprise on our side.
Because we never made no agreement.
I made no agreement.
I never.
Well, I'm sure he'll be fine. You know, he's one of them. I'm sure it's not like they're gonna hang him out to dry or anything like that. And to be honest, regardless of whether he wins or not, I'm not really sure what that means for the rest of us. I mean, it didn't really seem like he was patting us on the back or vouching for us.
My only problem with this course of action, Edward, is it might sour our relations with Gearshift when we've made great pains to try and build up a positive relationship with these people.
Yes, but we risk the destruction of Shamrock. That's too great a risk, my friend. Too great. We must go quickly.
You want to leave now?
Yes.
We could
now.
wait to see if he wins, and then if he doesn't win, we just run.
By that point, they will all be up here and ready to take
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I agree with Edward. It seems like it's now or never if we're gonna try and go that route.
Well, I was hoping to get a chance to reason with Peabody one more time. I don't think he's.
Perhaps we will see him again. But
I don't think he's
these
quite,
are not the circumstances.
I think he's confused. I think he can be helped.
He seemed more concerned with finding Shali Baba's army or whatever that was, rather than protecting the town of Shamrock anyway.
Yes.
Well, it's
horrible idea anyway.
Yeah, the last thing we need is a secondary cyborg army out here. God, that's gonna help things.
But then again, if that army was working for Shamrock,
well, that's what people always say when they have weapons of mass destruction or anything. The other people can't have it, but it's fine if we do. Of course, the top dogs are always gonna say that. Don't you think they would say that about us too?
There's no time to discuss this now. We must go now, as quickly as we can. There'll be time to talk about this later.
okay.
Murdoch sort of briskly, but also kind of nonchalantly makes his way over to the tank, as well as Charlene. Meanwhile, Peabody, of course, goes down into this cavern amongst all of this machinery and technology, and as you're going, you have a maintenance man sort of walking along. Of course, the bandit leader is there, as well as a lot of his men and some of the townsfolk of Gearshift who are looking for entertainment. But specifically, up there in the front, there is a maintenance man walking alongside you guys, sort of showing you where to go, and helping you guys along. And as you guys are going down this lift, just this elevator that has no wall. Well, I mean, it has walls, but it's just open. You could see out. You hear someone's voice come over on the walkie-talkie on this maintenance man. You can't really understand what they say on the other side. It's muffled, but the maintenance man picks it up. No, that's good. That's good. Just leave it. That'll be perfect. He hangs it back up in the little holster, and then moments later, boom! There's a loud explosion, and then quite amount of black smog and smoke erupts from one of these strange metal machines that you can see sort of off deeper beneath you, in the cavern. Well, that should be perfect. The guy says to you, Peabody, sort of nodding down. And you, in fact, don't know the name of anyone around you, really. The bandit leader never gave you his name, I don't believe. Someone else may have said it at some point, but I know that he never did. Feel free to correct me, anyone.
No, he never gave a name. We never heard of him.
But sure enough, at least you, Peabody, you've heard people muttering, sort of in this group with you, and you come to realize that his name is Rick.
Okay. So he's basically just taking us down the elevator to go find the tank? Is that?
Yeah, this maintenance man is taking you and Rick and this group of people down for you to do some sort of strange challenge of craftsmanship and engineering, and assumably it has something to do with the piece of machinery that just exploded.
Okay.
From what you can see, from what you can gather, it looks like they were just waiting to see something that they could put you on, and then something malfunctioned, and then
I see.
blew up. So now they're gonna let you go in and see if you can.
Do I see any other cyborgs around?
Everyone there is a cyborg.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Except
pretty much.
Except
even the ones that aren't obviously cyborgs. Yes, except for Rick. Rick himself has at least no obvious cybernetics. Excuse me if I sneeze.
What is the general operation down here? What are you trying to accomplish?
The maintenance man sort of speaks up meekly. Well, 85% of our machinery and equipment and manpower goes to water conservation.
And he looks to the left. There, I see a 647 Hydrofocus. I repaired many of those back before the Great Uprising.
You did? Those
Of course
things
I did, yes.
Those things haven't needed to be repaired since the uprising. You're a legend. He sort of hurriedly takes off his gloves and shakes your hand hard.
And Peabody's kind of like just confused. He's never had somebody shake his hand like that. Well, it's really nothing. Just doing my duty. Of course, that's what slavers always used to tell us. Duty is paramount, and submission of the will. But as you can see, my friend, that sort of attitude gets you here.
Yeah, there's no wills are submitted here in Gearshift. It's every man for his own, which is, kind of gives it a Wild West feel. Not always the safest of places, but hey, you're a free man and no one else is going to tell you what to do. And
are you a free man, son?
Well, I mean, I'm still serving out my allotted time here, putting in my hours until my citizenship is full-fledged. But yeah, I mean, I could leave at any point if I wanted to.
You could leave at any time.
Listen, this.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, anyone could. Anyone could just up and leave without telling anyone.
You are young yet, and unfortunately you don't see the pattern. You have good, strong arms, though. I've seen many of those. The super strength models that were put on many of the younger cyborgs in the area. But what happens when those arms fail you? Will you rely on your arms all of your days, or will you rely on your mind to think for yourself and to forge your own destiny?
It's definitely better to work smart rather than work hard. I'll agree with you there. And it is hard work down here, but for the most part, everyone here treats you pretty good. You get more respect than you'll get anywhere else. And it's certainly better than wandering the desert, hoping for water or food.
Indeed.
Listen, this is dangerous. This machine fucks up just about every other week, and it's taken off more than one hand and foot. So be careful. I don't want to be responsible for the death of someone famous. Who are you again?
My name is Peabody.
Oh, I'm Wilfred.
It is delightful to meet you, Wilfred. I'm sure you will be a great asset to the cause. Now, let us work on this machine. And you see him, there's a zzz, and one of these pops out near his eye. Ah, yes. Oh, yes. The sealant has become corroded. That's the basic problem. It will take me quite some time to breach the gap.
You think you can do it, though?
I am quite confident that I can, but it will take some time.
Time? Time's not something that I'll need. A sort of a cyborg wearing a leather trench coat steps forward and sort of puts on some gloves. Oh, he's gonna be going against you, and if he repairs it before you do, then you've lost.
I won't lose my young friend. Now, hand me that spanner over there.
And so he hands it to you, and the two of you begin working on it. What is your perception again?
28.
And how many skills do you have in any of the technician?
I have 2 in technician and 1 in junk crafter.
Okay, that's not too bad then. Get a 61 or lower on a percentile die.
I got a 50 again. You're not going to believe me, but I did.
Okay. So you step into this the area where this machine is, and you can't really. There's so much smoke is billowing out of it, at least in the spot that needs to be reached, that you can't even really see much until you get in there. And of course, you have cybernetic eyes, so you're not really bothered too much by that. But you step into this billowing smoke, and so does the other challenger, and your hands begin to work furiously on it. I don't know if you want to describe what you're doing. Or...
Yeah, so you see him. He starts up his saw, and you just see sparks flying everywhere. And the other hand is working the wrench, and there's just all sorts of commotion, and the burnt, acrid smell of iron being hit with a blade, sparks flying, and all sorts of imprecations being muttered by the Peabody as he goes about his work, and yeah.
There's more than one moment when a piece of the machinery flies open, and boiling hot steam or some fluid which would corrode and burn away your skin comes out. However, each time you pull your hand away quick enough that it never really damages you. And from the sighs and grunts that the other challenger is emitting, it seems as though he's having similar problems, and yet you do manage. Go ahead.
No, keep going.
I was just gonna say you do manage to get it repaired, obviously, because you made your roll before he does.
I was just gonna say, when you notice, anyone who notices would see a sort of faint blue glow around Peabody, and you're not sure, some sort of it seems to be almost absorbing some of the heat and the energy that are being cast off as he does this, and several times the sparks seem to sear his flesh, but nothing really, it leaves no marks, nothing happens.
And when finally the saw stops spinning and you step back, the Rick and the engineer step forward to examine, and they both sort of give a nod to the crowd standing there, who then bursts erupts into applause at what you've done. And by this point, Peabody has little shards and flecks of metal sort of in his hair, and some sticking to his skin that's flown off, and in his lungs as well. The bounty hunter walks
pouring down.
The bounty hunter walks over to you.
Yes! Yes! Yeah!
Well,
That is how you do it! Yes!
Well, I must say I wasn't expecting you to step forward for your friends, but it shows the true merit of a cyborg, I suppose. So, now tell me, friend, do you wish to take me up on this offer?
Why don't you refresh me real quick, so that we make sure the terms are amenable to both of us?
That tank of yours, I wish to borrow it. I will return it. Rest assured, I am a man of my word. I wouldn't have the reputation I do have if I wasn't. I will return your tank once me and my men have studied how to create another like it. However, in the meantime, I proposition that you loan me your tank, and I will give you to keep my horses in exchange. Now, these aren't typical, average, everyday horses. They've been modified by the best minds here at Gearshift.
How long, perhaps, are we talking that it's going to take you to learn the secrets of the tank?
Well, I expect it should take a little bit of time, perhaps a season, maybe two.
That's a very tempting offer. I tell you what. I'm going to need a servant or two to help me. If you'll throw in several of these cyborgs, then perhaps we could reach an arrangement.
Yes. Few of my men could go with you. A couple sort of step up to speak against it, but wham! He whacks one in the stomach hard who doubles over. Yeah, I could supply you with some arms and legs if that's what you're looking for.
That would be good. Several. We're also in need of a few weapons. We're going to be pursuing a dangerous path. And it doesn't need to be advanced weaponry, but some weapons and munitions, whatever you have left over would be helpful.
Yes, well, there's not exactly a surplus. However, I do have access to more than most. I'm sure we can afford you guys some firearms. But come, of course I will need your tank driver as well. We'll need someone that knows how to operate the thing, but we will not harm him.
Of course.
Come, let's take a look at your tank closer and make sure that there's nothing that needs to be addressed with it. So you guys head back towards the town square. And you find nothing. The tank is gone. So is Edward, Reginald, Charlene, Murdoch, and any trace that they were there, except for the treads still there in the sand from where the tank was sitting.
Well, this is a development. I told you they were not to be trusted.
Did your friends really skip town?
Well, I wouldn't call them my friends, but yes, it appears they have skipped town with nefarious intentions, no doubt.
Well, perhaps we could overtake them. Of course, we would need your knowledge of their routine.
I am well acquainted with their basic operating procedures, and the thing about tanks is, well, they don't travel very fast. And so yes, that might be an approachable goal.
Indeed, I don't think the distance will be an issue. However, the metal walls and the firepower, that may be another story. They may not be able to outrun us. However, they may be able to match us, should we overtake them. But it has been quite a long while since I had some fun. And I am a gambling man.
Now there is something else you should be aware of. They are low on gasoline. You see, the trip here to Gear Shift used up most of the supply, and, well, somebody forgot to fill up the tank.
Well, there's only one spot that sells gas anywhere remotely between here and Gear Shift. So I'm sure we can head them off there. If you wish to join us.
I have a few matters to attend to, yes, and then I will join you.
Well, we're in no hurry. I'm not beholden to any man. We will leave when you're ready. Like you said, they will not be able to outrun us.
Yes. Now show me where these horses are stabled. I would like to get acquainted with them.
And that is where we will end the session for this evening. Thank you for watching, everyone, and thanks for playing, you guys. That was fun.
Thank you.